Hey everyone, and good Monday evening. What a day we had today. Severe weather was not exactly on the menu today, but we're kind of in our prime severe weather season, May to June, early July, and sometimes the atmosphere just wants to twist and turn, especially when we have kind of a weather feature moving through like we had today. It's called an MCV, Mesoscale Convective Vortex. It's basically a little area of low pressure that moved through the region today and provided just enough turning of the wind as you go up through the atmosphere that we had a storm that did indeed rotate and prompted a tornado warning. I was on my way to the station, and actually I stopped to pump gas, and while I was pumping gas, I got the tornado warning alert and thought, I better hurry up and finish pumping and get to work. And so within, about 3 minutes of walking in the building, I was live on TV. That's life in my shoes sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta be ready to go. And today was one of those days. We did not have a tornado with this today, but we had some decent rotation with the storm, and I wanted to share this picture sent in to us by Sean. This is in Mineral Ridge, and at first glance, looks like a dark cloud, right? But if you look carefully, there's kind of a lowering right in through here, and I believe this is probably a rotating wall cloud. A wall cloud is a lowering of the cloud base that sometimes in situations such as today rotates. Sometimes that wall cloud then spawns a funnel, a further lowering. And of course, sometimes funnel clouds, if they reach the ground, they become tornadoes. And so we saw kind of step one of that process today with a rotating wall cloud, but thankfully we did not see that actually produce any sort of a tornado across the region today. While we're on the subject of severe weather clouds, I wanted to kind of remind everyone of the different types of clouds we sometimes see. We saw a lot of these today. Shelf clouds, which form a lot of times along the leading edge of a thunderstorm. This is where the rain-cooled air rushes out from the storm. It's like a mini cold front almost, and causes condensation lower to the ground than the parent thunderstorm. So you get a low-hanging cloud that looks like kind of a shelf, if you will. These are relatively harmless, but oftentimes delineate the leading edge of some strong winds and kind of the leading edge of the heart of the thunderstorm. We oftentimes see what we call scud clouds form, and we saw some of this today. This is kind of a low-hanging appendage from a thunderstorm that, again, kind of forms from interactions dealing with the cool rain-cooled air, the cool outflow, and also how humid kind of the air is surrounding the thunderstorm, and so you get new clouds forming lower to the ground. And these have kind of a ragged appearance a lot of times. These are not rotating. Scud clouds do not rotate, but they are often mistaken for something a little more ominous. We get a lot of pictures of scary-looking clouds, or SLCs, and a lot of times these are scud clouds, mistaken a lot for funnel clouds. The rotation, I slowed this down, and I'll let this play a few times. The rotation really formed near 76 and 80 to the west of Austintown, and that's when they issued the warning, and then that rotation continued, moving northeast, right through areas just southeast of Lordstown, southeast of Warren, through the Niles area, went almost right over the airport near Vienna. That couplet was never super strong, but you can see that red and green couplet a little bit, kind of indicating that broad mid-level rotation, pushing into Trumbull County and then weakening enough that they allowed the tornado warning to expire on time at 1:45 today. All right, severe weather aside, we had some bouts of heavy rain across parts of the region. We had one round late last night and early this morning, and of course our afternoon round, and so some liquid gold out there. It's been pretty dry lately, but an inch or two, pretty common across a lot of Mahoning County, southern Trumbull County, down in southern Columbiana County, 1 to 1.5 inches, pretty common, and parts of Mercer County did pretty well in addition to those other locations. So, again, this was fairly needed rain because it's been fairly dry around here since late April, early May. All right, things are quieting down this evening as of this recording at 7:11. Not much more than a stray shower. Should be a nice sunset this evening. On this date back in 1992, it was not severe weather. In fact, it was not warm weather that was the story. Boy, late in the season for a record low this cold, 34 degrees on June 22nd, 1992. Again, very late in June to get that cold. All right, as we go into the day tomorrow, a cold front's heading our way. Now, this is a pretty weak front. It's basically a dew point boundary. It'll be somewhat drier, the air mass behind this. as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. With this front heading our way, I think it's going to be another pretty active day. I don't think we'll see any more surprises tomorrow. That MCV I talked about, that convective vortex, that's not going to be around tomorrow. So the conditions will not be very favorable for severe weather and rotation tomorrow. The SPC, Storm Prediction Center, has areas east of I-79 outlined in the low-end risk for damaging wind gusts, maybe some hail. Around here, I think it's just general summertime thunderstorms. Could there be some bouts of heavy rain? Absolutely, with as humid as it is and a boundary heading our way, especially as we get into the afternoon. Some localized gully washers will be a possibility. So, appropriately enough, we are outlined in the low-end risk for flash flooding across eastern Ohio and western PA tomorrow. Again, these will be hit or miss type of storms. They'll be moving along at a decent clip, but any of these can produce a Florida-like downpour. So if you live in an area that typically sees the water become an issue, if you get a heavy summertime thunderstorm, tomorrow could be a day to watch out for that possibility. So that's something we'll be keeping an eye on as we go into the day tomorrow. The flood risk is nil on Wednesday, even though Wednesday we could still have a shower or even an afternoon thunderstorm. In the wake of this front, it'll be a less humid day Wednesday, but there's kind of an upper level disturbance that will lead to some instability. Wednesday afternoon, shower and a thunderstorm possibility. Same thing on Thursday. A lot of the time it'll be rain-free. It won't be that hot, not that humid, but a passing shower or storm will be a possibility. Finally, some relief dew point-wise. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a 3-day stretch of dew points in the comfy zone in the 50s. Then I think it will turn pretty hot, pretty muggy as we go into the weekend. Once we get back into the 80s, Friday and over the weekend, we're going to see a lot of 80s coming up. This looks like a pretty warm, if not hot, stretch during the tail end of June and taking us through the 4th of July holiday. I'm not going to be surprised if we have some 90-degree days right around July 1st, July 2nd. Maybe it cools off a little in time for the 4th, but boy, last couple of days of June, first handful of days of July, July is going to do some July things, it looks like, or at least early on in the month. So the 8 to 14-day outlook shows pretty high odds of a warmer than average stretch. All right, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks this evening. Thanks for counting on us for live coverage whenever severe weather does threaten or is occurring. We'll be there each and every time, even on days when it's a little bit of a surprise. I'll see you back here on Tuesday for a fresh edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video.